everybody, welcome to Robert's train set again. I'm in the loft, a rather cold loft. I think winter's coming on. So I'm not going to spend too much time up here, if I can help it. So today's video is unbelievably another new acquisition that I've been sent. And you will see the parcel that came and the box that was in it. But you will have to wait a little while to find out what was in the box, because I'm going to give you a little update of what's been happening on the layout at the moment. I've had some other goodies that have come. Not as good as the little the other box, but yeah, you'll have to wait and find out, won't you? So I'm going to show you what I've done, okay, and then we'll have an unboxing, and then hopefully a little bit of a run-in of what was in the box. Okay, everybody? And now I think you'll find that it's rather unusual, especially for my layout, and for probably quite a few layouts in Britain or England, whichever. So let's get on with it. Cheers, everybody. Cheers. So here's a parcel on the sofa, and this was direct from Hornby, and it's the second one I've got from Hornby. And what's in it? Well, it's a box. It wasn't wrapped particularly well. This was rattling around inside the box with not a lot of padding, as you can see. And it's a River Aussie. What am I doing buying River Aussie? And it's HO as well. You're going to have to wait until after my update to see what was in this. So I think for this update we'll start here. The parcel that you just saw before I started this little bit was the second parcel I'd had from Hornby. The first parcel came with what you see before you, which is a new point. In fact, I actually had two new points, a left hand and a right hand, and obviously the point motors, which I shall show you where they are. And I did buy a few to try and make this fiddle yard easier and safer to use for me. So if I just pivot round a little bit, if you remember, we had this little bit of extra board, didn't we? And what I was hoping to do was to have two little sidings on this, but unfortunately when I tried it, it would not have worked. It would have been just hitting on that side barrier. So I've decided on just having one. So I'll relocate now and I'll show you the other end. If you remember, we come off the old fiddle yard around the curve over the other bridge, and we come to a series of points, don't we? And this is the first one, and as you can see, I've now put a Hornby surface point motor on. And I do the surface point motors because I just find them the easiest thing to do. Obviously the Mark II Hornbys probably work better. They seem to be a lot of a stronger throw, but they're just, I think, a bit of a pain to put in. I'd have to take all the track up to do the holes for the thing and whatever. And then they're hanging down below, and as I might be going under here to do work, so I didn't think that was a good idea. So that's why I've got the that one. So if I just slide round a little bit. So having panned out quite a long way, this is the series of points that I had, if you remember. And as you can see, I've got point motors on those two there. And then if I just slide round a little bit, there's a point motor for that one. So we're all motorised this end, which is very good. And as I say, it's a lot safer. I don't have to keep going over the open hatch to come and change them, or walk all the way around here for that matter. So that isn't in fact all that I've done. I took the opportunity while I was having to order points from Hornby, and I ordered them from Hornby and the other bits because the other suppliers didn't have the quantities I need, or in fact in some places not have them at all. So I've finally motorised this second point that comes off to the fiddle yard, and And you might think that the motor is actually on my cardboard embankment, which it looks like it, doesn't it? But in fact I've inserted a piece of timber underneath, so rest assured it is on something solid. And I'll just show you the last and final point motor that I put in, and then we can get on to something else. So with a nice top view of Mallard there, which is due to be in the running session that will be coming after this complete video, so in a couple of weeks time probably. This is the point into the platform where the 101 DMUs used to sit, and it could still sit here if it needed, but it doesn't need to sit here anymore because it works, doesn't it? So I finally motorised this one, so it saves me coming over to keep switching it if I want to run a little train into there, or even a locomotive for that matter. So let's go and see what else I've done. So if you remember, the train's coming off the main layout and into this first fiddle yard. So as we come along from the tunnel entrance, you can see something, can't you? Look, there's vegetation appeared. We've been having a leak in him and it's all grown. And not only has vegetation grown, if I move the camera to a bit closer, you'll see what I've done. So coming along here, look, from a very high angle, Robert's train set's actually got some proper ballasted track, look, and it's all glued, it's not just loose, I've glued it. I've obviously made it because it's coming from some sort of yard, which you will see in a moment. And yes, look, I've got some concrete hard standing, along with some Hornby locomotives on it. So, if you remember, when I did the unboxing of the Daypole Class 52 Western, I did it here, and I had the brick wall with the funny looking tunnel in it. So I did say I might make this a bit more scenic, so that's exactly what I've done. So this will appear in the next video as part of a running session. So what am I going to do with that? Anyway, I don't know what you think of that. I've obviously put black all down the centre of the rails because that would be oil and grease over the years. And I've also done similar to the concrete because I think they would have had spills and everything, but being the concrete they probably would have cleared it up, so it wouldn't have been as, shall we say, fresh as these are. Because this is the first time I've ever done anything like this. And it's just out of my simple stuff that I got here. The hard standing is basically the cardboard boxes that I use all the time, the beer boxes. And the ballast is the loads from Hatton's, a mixture of the coal and the light stuff, really, the ballast. And I put obviously a bit of grass in between, which are just my sheets, you know, my roll, and then put white glue on it to make it look a bit patchy. So just to finish off before you see what was in the parcel that I received, I've taken you off the tripod, and I just thought I'd show you what I've done with the wiring under here. So basically, the cables obviously come through, actually they've had to come through this big block of wood and I've just run it along there, and then as it runs along it picks up more wires when it gets up the other end, and I've just used gaffer tape to hold it really, because I feel that will hold it quite well. I've taken it through the members here, as you can see. And yes, I know it's not that neat, but it'll do the job, I think. And you know, is much going to happen to the wires? I wouldn't have thought so. I would be very surprised. And they are protected when they're in this tape. So the one right on the far side, i.e. the last thing, that's actually had to come through the upstand because it was too close to take it through through the top. So that was the only awkward bit one. And finally, obviously I need to control all these points, and the way we do it on Railmaster is through these boxes, and I've had to buy two, and the numbers on it are the numbers of what's being controlled. I get 4 points or lights on each box. So I bought 2 boxes. I've got one here, which is right at the edge of the layout, is there. So 21 to 24 on this one, and then 25 to 28 on the other one. Now there is actually one less. There is one free, because I obviously couldn't use that other point. So anyway, I'm going to finish here. I hope you've enjoyed delving under my layout and having a look at all the wires. It's probably no worse than other people's, although it might be, I don't know. So see you later on. Bye. So I hope you enjoyed those little updates. They are certainly going to make it easier to operate over in that new fiddle yard, as you can see. And also just here, you know, so really all the points that are not operated by the motors now are right within arm's length of me, you know, which is going to be a lot easier, isn't it? And I hope you've liked the bit of scenery work I've done. What do you think on it? Do you think it's okay? For a first attempt, remember, I've never done ballasting before, well only the paper one. So what do you think? Have I done a reasonable job or over the top? Which I think perhaps I have, but I'd like to know in your comments. I won't be offended. You know, we've all got to learn, haven't we? Right? A bit of unboxing, really. I've tried to make it as short as possible because I'm not a great lover of watching people unbox things. But I just thought it was worth doing to build a little bit of anticipation, shall we say, all right? So I hope you'll enjoy that. Okay, cheers, and I'll see you right at the end probably. Bye. So here's this box that's been taken out of its bubble wrap, and as it said, weirdly it's got a window on the front of it, but all you can see is black. Why is that, I wonder? So let's start the unboxing, and I'll do this as quickly as I can. It's a nice pattern box. It's quite, and it's, you know, it's a substantial one again, like we're getting most of the time now, aren't we? So that's why it was black. So why have a window in a box with that in front of it? A bit weird. So there we are, the old sugar cube, and we have got obviously a detail pack. It seems to be all black, to be honest. And here's this LOCO. So what is it? Oh, it looks a bit strange, doesn't it? And the inevitable paperwork that we get. So it's in Italian and English, luckily. I would have had a bit of trouble with just being Italian. And the normal things, you know, lubrication points and that sort of thing, you know. I will say one thing, there isn't absolutely any information in all this paperwork about what the LOCO, when it was built, what it was about, anything at all. I have looked up on the internet and found some information on it, which I will try and impart later on. But basically it's just a thing. And this is like a quick guide, you know. So let's open the LOCO up. It was rather stiff, and it had been off a few times as well. And you've got a black behind. They like their black foam, don't they? And there's this sort of insert at the front, which is quite neat. So I think it's as well that it was done up this well, because as I said, it was rattling around inside the box when it was delivered. And here it is. So I'll show you what it is later on with the old label, but it's different, isn't it? So this is an Italian locomotive, basically, built in 1954, I think. But what drew me to it was it's articulated. So it could have been one of the first articulated logos, or anything for that matter. And as you saw, it's got 3 lots of Bobo wheels.
Only the two end lots are driven, and it also has a rubber tyre on it as well, which I was thinking, it's quite heavy. So there we are. That's what the name of it is. It's an E646, an 013. So it's a fairly new. It was fairly new, I suppose. It was one of the first ones built, and this was the detail pack. And these are sort of air dams at the front. I don't think they're snow ploughs as such, but you have to screw them on. Whether I will do that, I don't know. And you can have them either without a coupling or with a coupling. These strange looking things, that's a template to put some irons on for lights, as you can see here. So you have to glue the little iron on the front of the LOCO and then cut away the template. I don't fancy doing that somehow. It's metal, and that's where they're supposed to be. It obviously gave you another coupling for the other end, but as you'll see later, it's detailed at the front. Very impressive pantograph, and this is a joint that flexes. It's really good. So here we are up on the layout on our new piece of scenic. So as we said, it was a Bobo, and it was 60 foot long and 9 foot 10 wide and 14 foot and a half inch high, 1.5 inch high. It had 110 to 112 tons of weight, 3000 volts DC through the pantographs, obviously. So now let's have some sound, shall we? Start up, this is. So they were various whistles, obviously, and I believe this is a generator. And this would obviously be a fan for cooling, I would think. So this next bit is the best done coupling sequence I've yet heard. What do you think? The next one is the pantograph going down. The next is releasing a vacuum. So before we see it move, we'll carry on. So top speed was 87 miles an hour, which, 140 kilometres an hour. Well, not bad, considering it was made in 1958, I suppose. And the 198 built of this is number 13, so it's fairly early. And it had a £52,000 tractive effort, and they were all decommissioned in 2009, but they still run specials with this. So let's hear the unique noise that this engine makes. Bag of old nails comes to mind. So reading between the lines, I think this locomotive may have been quite difficult to drive because you had a rheostat of some sort that you had to keep changing to try and make it good. I did find it surprising that the buffers weren't sprung, seeing this is a new tooling apparently. So now let's just have some close-ups of it, shall we? The pantographs are actually metal, which is good. I think this end looks really good, considering it's got the coupling in it. So these are the 3 Bobo wheel assemblies, and this is the middle one. And I think they look pretty good actually. I think there's a lot of detail in there, isn't there? So there is detail in the cab, and I tried to get it, but it's such small windows I just could not do it. So just to finish, we'll have some top shots of it, and I think it looks okay. I like it. I do really like it. I think it's in. I'm not sure it's worth the money. This costs more than a Hatton 66, so a bit dubious, but it is a lot of detail on it. So now we're going to have some running shots of it. So I have ordered some coaches for this, but they've yet to come, and I ordered them at the same time as the LOCO, which is almost a year ago. So I thought the cargo wagons were the most appropriate ones I had, because it probably would have pulled them, and I did say in later episodes that I saw one of these, a picture of one of these at our local depot with FS on it, so they did probably pull them. But interestingly, there was a different version of this for freight, which was the E645, and it was lower geared, so it only do 75 miles an hour, but it had 64,000 pounds of tractive effort, so this wouldn't really pull them, but it might have done. So here we are, right at the end of this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've tried to put as much different content in it as I can. Do you like the new locomotive I've bought? It's certainly different, isn't it? And as I said in the comments when I was showing you it, yes, I don't think it's spectacular value for money, to be honest, but I just was intrigued by it being bendy like that, and it would probably help on a tight layout, wouldn't it? So there we are. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I'd like to thank all my new subscribers that have come on, and also thank you for everybody that's been watching, because my views have gone up, which I was a bit worried about, if you remember. So it seems to be picking up a bit. So I'm waffling on again. I've got this bright light in my eyes and I need to think about the next video, which will be a running session, you'll be pleased to know. It will be a running session. It might be slightly different, but it will be a running session. And I'm hoping to use
a lot of the new stuff that I've acquired recently. Okay, everybody, cheers. And keep safe. And yes, we've got a vaccine, but we've still got to be sensible, haven't we? So, bye, everybody. Bye.